get to a developing story from San Jacinto County. An arrest has been made in a 3-year-old cold case.
This news discussed a 3-year-old cold case that happened in May of 2019 when the small town of Shepherd, Texas was rocked by a horrifying discovery.
She was found down this trail
at Sam Houston National Forest in San Jacinto County, where investigators say a neighbor found the body of 59-year-old Rhonda Richardson, May 22nd, 2019. The trail not far from Richardson's home in Shepherd.
Rhonda Darlene Richardson, a respected corrections officer, was found dead in a wooded area in Sam Houston National Forest near her home. For years, the mystery of her death haunted the community, until a breakthrough in 2022 brought her killer to justice. Today, we unravel the cold case of Rhonda Darlene Richardson and uncover the chilling details that led to the culprit. In the end, what happened in this case? Who was the killer? And why did it take years to confirm his heinous act? At the time of her death, she was employed at the Polunsky unit, which houses Texas's death row inmates. Richardson planned to retire soon and was planning to spend time with friends, family, and coworkers. However, sadly, her life came to an end before that.
My mom was a very private person. She was getting ready to retire, had been working with the state for 25 years.
Okay.
She loved spending time with her grandkids. She helped a great deal with my daughter when she was born and with my brother's kids and helped them out.
Rhonda Darlene Richardson, born in Dayton, Ohio on January 13, 1953, was a courageous and bold girl who always had a passion for doing something good for the community. After many years of hard work, she was chosen to be a corrections officer, which led to her move to San Jacinto County in Texas. She was an extremely fearless woman who spent years working for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. However, May of 2019 changed everything in her life. On May 21st, Rhonda's neighbors became stressed when she couldn't find Rhonda anywhere, confirming her disappearance. This kicked off a mystery surrounding her, questioning what could have happened.
We got a call of a woman was found in the National Forest, and she was found deceased. We showed up, and immediately we grew suspicious of the nature and the cause of death due to the fact that the way she was found, the way her body was basically mutilated. She was found face down. She was scalped. She was fully clothed. She was right off of a small little pipeline trail. It was commonly used for people to go out there walking, ATVs, that kind of thing. But it was in a small community in Shepherd, right next to the National Forest. So there was a lot of, it was a wide open trail. It was commonly used. And there was, the way she was found was very disturbing. We found out the day before she had had a couple of dogs that had gotten loose, and these dogs had ran off apparently into the National Forest, which is just right across from where her house was at. So she had asked for some help with some neighbors.
Before going missing, Richardson was last seen searching for her lost dog. Reportedly, she had asked her neighbors for help, but had never returned home. The next day, on May 22nd, Officer Gary Sharpen from the San Jacinto County Sheriff's Office received a phone call in the afternoon from informant Robert Dale Clary and his nephew Hassan Clary. When the police arrived at the specific location in a wooded area adjacent to Rhonda's residence near Sam Houston National Forest in Shepherd, according to the informant, they found her lifeless body lying on the ground, which raised many questions about how the body was found. The initial investigation showed that Richardson had severe injuries to her head and face, as well as many cuts on her body suggesting a violent attack that led to her death. Various physical evidence was collected from the wooded area where her body was found. This included clothing fibers, a broken fingernail, and personal belongings, all showing signs of a violent struggle. DNA samples like skin cells and hair were also collected. For further investigation, Richardson's body was sent to the Southwest Texas Forensic Center in Beaumont, where Dr. Brown identified her. Although advanced decomposition prevented them from determining if she had been assaulted, and difficult to find any other clue. Thus, San Jacinto County detectives asked Dr. Joan Bytheway at Sam Houston State University for a second opinion. Dr. Bytheway concluded that Richardson had indeed been assaulted, and found DNA evidence on her body. But the evidence was too degraded or unclear to identify a specific person with the technology available in 2019. However, despite the lack of any results from DNA testing, a peculiar bit of evidence raised doubts on a certain individual. Another piece of evidence found near the body was a cell phone. That cell phone belonged to Robert Dale Clary. The police discovered numerous phone calls and recordings between Clary and Rhonda on the cell phone. Not only that, but the phone's Google Drive included images of the victim before and after her death, which pointed to Clary's suspicious behavior and involvement in the case. Moreover, despite the findings of the body of Richardson, Clary didn't mention it in the beginning. Rather, he went back to his family, and it wasn't until later he made the 911 call with his cousin, which makes him more suspicious.
Over the years, and multiple DWIs, he did prison time.
Yes, yeah, he had some alcohol-related DWIs. He had, several convictions. He did some time in prison several times, and then I think the latest was he had I think it was a indecency with a child or something to do with that, but it was a crime.
Additionally, during the investigation, Detective Gary Sharpen noted that Clary had a history of arrests. He had been arrested multiple times in the past, which included 5 DWI cases for which he served time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. These arrests occurred in June 1990, November of 1991, June of 1992, and June of 2003. Clary also faced assault charges in Harris County in 1998 and 2004. When Clary was put into interrogation, he admitted that Rhonda had asked for his help to find her lost dog before she died. However, when officers increased the pressure on him, Clary provided an alibi, and he avoided giving any clear answers. So without solid proof, the authorities couldn't charge him. The history of criminal behavior, along with his suspicious actions surrounding Richardson's death, made Clary a key suspect in the investigation. However, due to the lack of advanced forensic technology at the time, the DNA evidence found on the body couldn't identify the suspect, leading to Clary being eliminated from the case. With all other leads also failing to shed light on what happened to Richardson, the case went cold. However, after 3 years of remaining inactive, the case was finally reopened. The case took a new turn in 2022, with the application of fresh forensic techniques such as advanced forensic genealogy and cell phone tracking, breathing new hope into the investigation.
New information came up, new cell phone technology. We were able to extract some more information from his cell phone, which put him on the trail. We were able to do some more work with her cell phone, and then we were able to, give an approximate time that she stopped actual moving. Any activity from her phone was on this trail the day before, and so we were able to develop that kind of information and nail him down to it.
They found important evidence that had been missed before. They used advanced computer analysis to look at cell phone information that was found near the crime scene. This helped them find Robert Dale Clary's location near where the crime happened, which didn't match his alibi, which he had given during the initial investigation back in 2019. They even found deleted messages that suggested he had planned the crime beforehand. Further crucial evidence came forward that brought this case to light when advanced forensic genealogy showed that DNA found on Rhonda's body and clothes matched Clary's DNA, proving his involvement. Throughout the reinvestigation, another officer, Todd Dillon, involved in this case, found another clue that had been missed. A witness who remains unidentified saw Rhonda with Clary on the day of the crime.
We happened across a witness in this case that we knew was out there but had never been able to identify or locate. Happened across this witness, and it really was just the last piece of the puzzle that we needed.
By putting all this evidence together, both from technology and regular detective work, they had a strong case against Clary. He was arrested for further legal procedure on April 29, 2024. After all the evidence was gathered, Clary was arrested by law enforcement officers. He was formally charged with the crime. During the trial, Clary had the opportunity to defend himself or have legal representation do so on his behalf. But regardless, authorities provided enough evidence against him to seal his fate. That's how the story of Richardson's murder took a major turn on October 31, 2022, when Clary was brought to arrest. Following months of investigation, a formal charge was laid against him in January of 2023. However, it wasn't until April of 2024 that Clary admitted to the crime, bringing closure to the case and receiving a 30-year prison sentence. Richardson's life and career as a corrections officer highlighted her dedication to her community and the challenge she undertook daily. In the aftermath of her tragic death, even with emotional wounds, her family remembers her fondly. Clary admitting to what he did helped Richardson's family find peace. Even though it was hard, they finally got closure. This gave them hope that they could start to heal.